Hey guys, and welcome to a bit of a different video. So today I sat around and I thought, I just realised if you don't own a leopard gecko or even a crested gecko or a Chahoua, geckos that are crepuscular, geckos who aren't particularly active during the day, you might be curious to know what it's actually like to own those animals during the day. So what I thought I'd do is sort of film each of the geckos, see where they are, what they're doing. Now with Gizmo's tank I have actually opened the door just because the camera wasn't focusing. It kept, oh, she's coming out. It kept focusing on the glass. Now this is about 3 o'clock in the afternoon and she was just asleep. Look at her little face. She's not happy with me. I've woken her up. She's actually there with a little cricket. Can you see that cricket there? Naughty. You're meant to be eating that. So this is very typical. They will sleep. If you walk into the room, if you open the doors, they may wake up. But to be honest with you, I would recommend leaving them. Okay, so this is 3 PM. I would say from 6 or 7 PM onwards, you can then start to handle. Now, I have owned Gizmo half my life, okay? So when I got her, I was a 13-year-old, and I'm sure some of you who are watching are around that age. And actually I found it to be particularly, this isn't focusing, particularly good when you're at school, because the entire day you can actually leave the gecko to be asleep and be calm. You come home, you chill, you do some homework, you eat tea, and then you can handle your gecko. Now I will look at other leopard geckos in a moment, but I thought I'd show you some arboreal geckos. So I obviously have a Chahoua and a crested gecko in this Drogo's tank. Now his UV is on at the moment. You see all these aerial roots. But around this time, he is usually in this hide over here or in here. So we don't see him out and about during the day. So if you are at home, if you are around your geckos, throughout the day and you are expecting to see them, that might not be the case for these. If that's something you want, if this is a gecko you want that more of a viewing animal, less handling, you want to see them during the day, something like a day gecko, it's literally in their name, might be better for you, but they aren't really great with being handled. But Drogo is somewhere in here, I just do not see him during the day. Now my other arboreal gecko is a crested gecko, and you're probably more likely to own a crested gecko than a Chahoua. I know in America in particular, Chahuas are hard to come by or they're just really expensive, so I'm sure more of you have a crested gecko rather than a Chahoua. Now as I've said in a previous video, Lyra tends to spend most of her time asleep in a snake plant, so I do see her a lot when she's asleep. On occasion she'll be up here, but today she's actually in a coconut hide. Now we will have to go in a little bit. And there you can see her asleep. Now crested geckos do not have eyelids, so they do just look like they're staring, but you may notice their eyelashes will point down a little. I do have a whole video on that. With crested geckos, in comparison to my Chahoua, I do think I see her a lot more. It might be just how the setup is, and if you do want to see them more, and because I know a lot of them do sleep on snake plants, if you put a snake plant near the front of the tank, you'll probably see them asleep in there as well. So I would say in comparison to a Chahoua, and obviously I only have 2 examples here, I have one crested gecko, one Chahoua, I do see my crested gecko a lot more during the day. Now back to leopard geckos, as you can see Ziggy is just here. Now I said this on my Instagram story the other day, with the deep heat projector, right, some days I will find Ziggy here. Some days I'll find her on here. Some days I'll find her in a cold hide. Some days she'll spend the entire day in a cold hide, the entire evening over here. It's actually very different like each day. Now the reason I gave her a deep heat projector first, the reason I wanted to make a change, is she only had a heat mat before and literally she would only stay in there. And it just didn't seem an exciting life for her, and so I've really seen a difference in her. She knows I'm here, she's got her eyes open, she's aware, but as you can see she's exposing herself to the UV at the moment and the deep heat projector. I'm sorry if I sound breathy, I'm trying to talk quietly, and also I still am not 100%. Whatever this cold illness flu thing is, it is lingering, so yay. Now, an opposite to Ziggy is Minnie, and Minnie is actually currently in her cold hide. Now, last night I did actually post on Instagram a picture of her sleeping right under a deep heat projector during the night. But this is more common for Minnie. Minnie does spend a lot more time in her cold hide. And finally we have Mr. Diego, who has one eye open. He is very curious as to what on earth I'm doing. When sometimes he'll be completely out of it, but I feel like they know when I'm trying to film or take photos, and that's when they wake. Oh, he's going back to sleep. Look at that. So if you appreciate the look of a sleeping leopard gecko, you will get that during the day when you own one. I feel like if you want to make the most out of seeing your gecko during the day, you've got to be mindful of where you set things up. Now, of course, we want the gecko to feel safe and secure. We want them to be able to hide and get away from us viewing them. But if you have sort of like here, his hide sort of faces out this way, I get to see him quite a bit. Whereas in Gizmo's tank, she has quite a deep cave. So when she wants to, you know, she can hide right back there, but that does mean I don't see her as often. But it might mean that she is actually, just in general, less stressed. So as much as we want to see our animals, we've got to do what's best for them. Diego could technically go further back if he wants into that corner which is shaded, but he chooses to do this. And then on my bed is a cat. I'm very wary of cats around lizards and stuff. I actually already had lizards when we actually adopted her, so she's pretty much grown up with them. She does not disturb them. I would never get them out like in front of her. I don't like, I know I've known you 12 years, yeah. I don't trust you that much because you're a cat at the end of the day. You are a predator. So I would never let the geckos out around her, but this room is so quiet and nice and warm that she also comes up here. But I hope you've enjoyed this video. It's a bit different, but I realise not everyone sort of knows what it would be like if you owned a gecko that is known for sleeping during the day, what it's actually like to own one of them. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, guys, and goodbye.